Pat Forde, Sports Illustrated senior writer. He's going to the Wisconsin Notre Dame game on Saturday. He was at Cincinnati, Indiana last week. Figured we'd have him on, get an update, because the College Football Playoff Committee met yesterday but did not vote to expand to 12 teams. Pat joins us now. Can you tell me why they didn't vote?
Pettiness, jealousy, rivalry, distrust, short-sightedness. I guess that would be the short list of reasons. Basically, it comes down to a unwillingness to, I think, let the SEC and ESPN get everything at once here, more than anything else. It's like, okay, Greg Sankey was on this committee that helped come up with expanding the playoff to 12. It would be a huge financial gain. ESPN would be the benefactor, the sole media benefactor, and we don't like what happened with expansion with Texas and Oklahoma, so we're going to throw a stick into the wheels here and at least slow it down. I still think we will get to expansion. I don't know that it's going to be 8. I don't know that it's going to be 12, but we're going to get to expansion with multiple broadcast partners is my belief.
But we still have to wait a few years for this contract to expire.
Right. Yeah. Now, I mean, they could get into this probably and open this up and do something by like 2024 if everyone wanted to. But this is part of the slowdown process is we are not going to do this the way certain people want it. We're going to, like, if you're the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the ACC, you're saying, okay, well, this is not just going to be everything the way the SEC wants it.
You brought up the number 8. I was told don't be locked into 12 because it might start with baby steps to 8 and might even jump to 16 and might blow right past 12. What are you hearing about down the road?
Well, I certainly think all the numbers are still on the table. I think 16 is a tough sell right now from what I heard, just from people coming out of there worried about number of games played and how deep into January you're going to go with this thing. That there is a feeling that it would be a rare thing for a team to play 17 games. It could happen, but if you're at 16 team playoff, then it's almost certain that somebody's going to play 17 games. Whereas it would be unlikely otherwise. They want to keep this thing at 16 or fewer games for the most part, as they're trying to sell this as relative amateur sports.
Which segues into name, image, and likeness. Here we are a couple of weeks into the season. Is name, image, and likeness working?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's working quite well. I know this. For all the people that sat out there and said, this is going to ruin the sport, this is going to turn into pro football. I already watch pro football. I'm not going to watch. The ratings are huge. The ratings have been phenomenal so far this year. Players are getting things, but have you seen any sign that it has ruined their product, ruined their work ethic, turned them into, lazy, money-grubbing players? No, I haven't seen that. You've seen non-revenue sport athletes make money off of it. I don't think that there has been anything that I've seen that says this was a bad idea.
I mentioned this in the first hour of the show that, James Franklin beating Auburn at home sort of keeps him at the top of the USC list. There's obviously mutual interest, but he's either going to get a huge pay raise at Penn State or he's going to get a huge pay raise going to USC. And then I was also told, make no mistake about it, every coach wants to be mentioned for this job. Whether they want it or not, they want to get a pay raise. Like, their agents love this. Like, privately, the coaches are like, did I get mentioned? Yes, you did. Awesome. Now go to the press conference and act like you have no interest in going to USC. What do you think? How do you think this plays out?
Well, you're 100% right about that. And that's one thing USC did do by doing this at this point in the year. You just gave 2 months of leverage to the agents for these guys. And so they're going to do their work behind the scenes. If they want to get, in front of Chris Peterson or Bob Stoops, who's not coaching right now, they can. But everybody else has got to play coy. As you said, be interested while acting like they're not interested. James Franklin and Luke Fickell, I think, are sitting in good positions here. I think Franklin would fit very well at USC. Fickell would be a little bit tougher fit, and he also worked with Mike Bohn at Cincinnati, and I'm not sure he is super anxious to work with Mike Bohn again. I'm not saying they had a bad relationship, but I'm not sure they had a great relationship.
Yeah, I was told he didn't want to leave the Midwest. Now, that could mean a lot of different things, but I was told Fickell didn't want to leave the Midwest.
He's a Midwest guy through and through. I mean, that has been him. He's pretty happy at Cincinnati, and now Cincinnati has, putative Power 5 membership coming with the Big 12. If the Big 12 can kind of hold on to that status, I just don't think he's the kind of guy that ever in his professional life thought, gosh, it would be great to coach at USC, whereas a lot of other guys, I'm sure, thought that.
He's Pat Forde, Sports Illustrated senior writer. He'll be at the Wisconsin Notre Dame game. Game is bigger for who, Notre Dame or Wisconsin?
Well, it's bigger for Notre Dame because they're still undefeated, and they've proved nothing. They really haven't played very well so far. They're 3-0, but it's an unimpressive 3-0. This is a chance to beat a pretty good team and maybe get yourself playing on a higher level and get people to take you a little more seriously as a national playoff contender. The problem, Notre Dame's schedule, Dan, is tricky. It's not just the games, who they're playing, but when. They play so many teams coming off of bye weeks that they are at a bye disadvantage. This is one of them, and they're going to keep running into that. Cincinnati next week goes off of an open date into South Bend, and there are several others throughout the season. Just wear and tear and preparation time. Notre Dame's at a disadvantage 5 different times this season.
Most disappointing team so far is who?
Oh boy, I would have to say, really, I'd say Ohio State. I thought that they were. I bought into the belief that they would plug and play with these, young guys coming in, and everything would just keep running smoothly. And not just that they lost at home to Oregon, but they were pretty well outplayed in that game. And then, to come back and be 21-20 against a Tulsa team that lost to an FCS team, I'm like, what is wrong there? There's just something that's not clicking that I really didn't expect.
I would nominate Clemson, but maybe I overrated Clemson, but DJU has not been Trevor Lawrence 2.0. That offense, that surprises me a little bit. Are they still the class of the ACC, but are they a top 10 team in your opinion?
No, they're not in my top 10 as of now. They're not. The grim struggle against Georgia Tech Saturday. Well, that was really wild to see them struggle to score 14 and barely hold off Georgia Tech at home. So they've got issues. What they've got also is an easy schedule. They could end up being 11-1 and not be very good.
What happens if Lane Kiffin beats Nick Saban?
The earth splits open. And then like demons come out. I mean, now it would just be, it would be incredibly interesting. I mean, Lane Kiffin is a provocateur. He's been an Eddie Haskell type for those old enough to know who that is. He's a guy that loves being a needler, a fly in the ointment. And this would be the ultimate, sticking it to the SEC establishment and to the guy that fired him as offensive coordinator in the middle of a playoff. They're going to have a chance, I think. I mean, they're a dangerous team. They're better defensively, and they're really good on offense.
Safe travels. Is always great to catch up with you again, Pat. Thank you.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
That's Pat Forde, Sports Illustrated.